This is macOS Ken.
Updates for everything. The Wwdc keynote is confirmed. And closing arguments in Epic v. Apple. It's Tuesday, the 25th of May, 2021. I'm Ken Ray, and this is news from macOS Ken, brought to you by yours truly and sponsored by Headspace. Meditation made simple. Get a free 1-month trial at headspace.com/macOSKen. This show is also supported by people like you, patrons through Patreon. Find out more and add your support at patreon.com/macOSKen. Everything from Apple got an update on Monday. While all of those updates have security components, we'll start with the Mac since its security fix seems most urgent. As seen on Mac Rumors, Apple's notes for the macOS Big Sur 11.4 update say the update adds Apple Podcast subscriptions and channels and includes important bug fixes. It also includes a patch for a scary-sounding security issue. That part wasn't in Apple's notes. A piece from Forbes says the device management firm and former macOS Ken sponsor Jamf discovered the issue last year when researching the XCS set malware. According to the piece, the hackers who created the spyware discovered they could get around a macOS privacy feature known as transparency, consent, and control. The TCC is the feature that raises a flag when an app is doing something that might affect a user's privacy, such as taking photos or recording keystrokes, asking for explicit permission from the user before any action is taken. The malware coders found a way to hijack other apps' permissions, ones that have already been approved by the user. So you give an app permission to record the screen, and the malware can sneak in under that permission and record the screen without you knowing. Apparently not theoretical, this one. The Forbes piece indicates that it's been spotted working under the radar through Zoom. And no big deal, almost nobody uses Zoom except for everybody since the start of the pandemic. Thus far, says the report, the hackers have only been seen abusing the flaw to take screenshots, but the same exploit could be abused to pilfer files, record audio over the microphone, or take images via the Mac's camera, Jamf said. The flaw is fixed in the macOS 11.4 update, which is why we are leading with the macOS 11.4 update. Also, that is not the only issue addressed. A visit to the security page for the update shows nearly 60 security issues fixed, so you probably don't want to drag your heels on this one. With paid podcast support hitting the Mac, you know it is up for iPhone and iPad as well. That's one of the many features featured in a Mac Rumors post covering the release of iOS and iPadOS 14.6. While the piece lists a number of producers planning paid subscriptions, including NPR, Wondery, the LA Times, and others, it's unclear whether any paid podcasts have actually made the scene. While spatial audio and lossless audio aren't coming until next month, Mac Rumors says the 14.6 updates lay the groundwork for the new formats. Not sure how, but okay. Apple Card Family has found its way to iPhone. Announced last month, the piece says Apple Card Family is designed to allow an Apple Card to be shared among family members. Two adults in a family can share a single Apple Card account, with each person serving as a co-owner to build credit. Parents can also add kids to an Apple Card. Mac Rumors says that comes with optional spending limits and parental controls to help children learn smart financial habits. Finally, two members of a household with Apple Cards will be able to combine them into one account. There are benefits, so there's little point in discussing those now. Users will not be able to combine Apple Cards until July. Users can now tag their AirTag with an email address instead of a phone number. That way, if somebody finds your lost AirTag or other Find My device, they can email you rather than calling. Or put a different way, the creep or weirdo who stole your stuff won't have your phone number, just your email, which is decidedly less creepy and weird. Making good on its accessibility initiatives, Mac Rumors says Apple has added a very useful sounding option to voice control. According to the post, iPhone users with the voice control accessibility option enabled can unlock their iPhones for the first time after a restart using only their voice after installing iOS 14.6. Also, plenty of bug fixes and security fixes to be sure. I count 38 fixes on the update's associated security page. We go now to your wrist. That is where we find Apple installing watchOS 7.5, assuming your wrist has an Apple Watch on it. MacRumor says this one also brings support for paid podcasts and Apple Card family. It also brings security fixes. I count 24 on the watchOS 7.5 security site. But wait, there's more. watchOS 7.5 turns on the ECG app and irregular heart rate rhythm notifications for Malaysia and Peru. The update also adds new pride faces to the Apple Watch gallery. One more for the modern among us. Another post from MacRumor says Apple on Monday let loose tvOS 14.6. Like its phone and tablet counterparts, the tvOS update paves the way for spatial audio and lossless audio. Unlike its phone and tablet counterparts, the tvOS update doesn't seem to have any other features listed. Of course, check its security site and it does handle a number of issues there. That number, 25. So do that updating thing you do. Now, I said the tvOS update was the last of Monday's updates for the modern among us. If you're still rocking a Mac on Catalina or Mojave, there are straight-up security updates for you. Apple's security site heralds the arrival of Security Update 2021-004 Mojave for Mojave, Security Update 2021-003 Catalina for Catalina, and Safari 14.1.1 for Mojave and Catalina. No new features, of course, but lots of security. So you do that updating thing you do, too. It's an under-the-hood kind of day around these parts. Not only were there updates aplenty, there's also news of the next meeting of the Code Monkey Minds. It's not like we didn't know, but iDownload blog says Apple has confirmed the opening presentation for WWDC 21. Worldwide Developers Conference starts on the 7th of June, and funny enough, that is when the opening keynote will be as well. According to Apple's WWDC site, the opening keynote kicks off at 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern. The platform State of the Union follows a bit later. That starts at 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern. Now, I'm not sure where Apple said this, but regarding the show opener, iDownload blog has Apple saying, WWDC 21 kicks off with the unveiling of exciting new updates coming to all Apple platforms later this year. Streamed directly from Apple Park, the keynote address will be available via apple.com, the Apple Developer app, the Apple TV app, and YouTube, with on-demand playback available after the conclusion of the stream. It also sounds like the show will have a bit of a reorganization around organization. New for WWDC 21, pavilions. Quoting Apple again, pavilions provide an easy way for developers to explore relevant sessions, labs, and special activities for a given topic. Conference attendees can customize their WWDC experience and check out content organized around specific areas like Swift UI, developer tools, accessibility and inclusion, and more, exclusively within the Apple Developer app. Now, I would tell you where you could catch the opening keynote, but I already did, so why don't we just sit quietly for a moment? All right, that's good. More news in a moment, but first a word from Headspace. Meditation made simple. Seems natural, right? Joke about sitting quietly, then roll into a meditation message. Yeah, that's not all meditation is. Sure, some of the Headspace offerings have you sit quietly, contemplatively. Others, though, are meant to work while you work out. Some of what Headspace offers is music, meant to help you focus. There are guided meditations to help you with anger, guided meditations to help you succeed, and guided meditations to help you sleep. That barely scratches the surface, plus Headspace adds new features and meditations all the time. Whatever the situation, Headspace really can help you feel better. Personally, I like the walking meditations. I appreciate the SOS meditations, and I really like the skills that I picked up in the basics. Headspace is backed by 25 published studies on its benefits, 600,000 5-star reviews, and over 60 million downloads. You deserve to feel happier, and Headspace is meditation made simple. Go to headspace.com/macOSken. That's headspace.com/macOSken for a free 1-month trial with access to Headspace's full library of meditations for every situation. This is the best deal offered right now. Head to headspace.com/macOSken today. Closing arguments were held yesterday in the Epic v. Apple trial. If you're curious how they went, I can recommend a great write-up over at VentureBeat. It seems that what Judge Yvonne Gonzalez-Rogers is trying to decide is whether the argument is over platforms or Apple's control over its platform. If the case is about platforms, it sounds like she would go Apple's way. There are Android phones, consoles, and computers. People can play Fortnite on a range of those, so how can Apple be said to have a monopoly? Now, if the case is about Apple's control over its platform, it sounds like she would side with Epic. Apple has never lowered the 30% it gets from apps like Fortnite, properties that would never hit Apple's sub-$1 million 15% commission. If there was real competition, she argued that 30% would have probably come down at some point. Here's the thing, though. It's hard to know, as VentureBeat points out, whether we were hearing the judge's thinking or hearing her play devil's advocate. And her decision is pending. According to VentureBeat, she said she wasn't sure if she could get the case done by the 13th of August, which was the day Epic sued Apple in 2020. But she wanted to review the case while the memory of the testimony was fresh. She pointed out she had thousands of pages of testimony to review, and that her decision would be in writing. Haste, thy name is Darianani. Philip Elmer DeWitt's Apple 3.0 ran part of a note Monday from Evercore analyst Amit Darianani. I say AdRock's hasty because he issued a note predicting an Apple win before Monday's closing arguments. That said, here's part of what he said. Based on our discussions with legal experts, we think the odds are tilted in Apple's favor. No matter which way the judge rules, however, this trial will have broad-reaching implications. A win for Epic would likely embolden the DOJ to move more aggressively on antitrust action. On the other hand, however, a high-profile win for Apple may cause the DOJ to think twice before bringing its own antitrust case. For what it's worth, Elmer DeWitt agreed with Darianani's assessment after hearing Monday's arguments. Darianani has an outperform rating on Apple's shares. Evercore's price target on the shares is $175. And finally today, you know the adage, you get what you pay for? Well, maybe sometimes not. If you're looking for an Hermès AirTag accessory, 9to5Mac says you are currently out of luck. The fashion key rings and luggage tags are listed as currently unavailable on Apple's site, with no explanation from either company. However, the owner of one Hermès AirTag keyring thinks he has an explanation. Quality issues. The individual, who asked to remain anonymous, claims to have had the keyring fall apart in his pocket. Writing to 9to5Mac, he said, I pulled my keys out of my pocket and was surprised to find only the Hermès AirTag and its strap in my hand. not exactly confidence-inspiring. It had had a posh life with no notable stress or harm. At first, I thought it had just come undone, but upon closer examination, it was clear that the bottom of the metal post had unscrewed at some point and eventually separated. Contacting AppleCare, he was told he could get a replacement. A day later, though, that option was no longer available. With no replacements to be had, he was told he could either get a refund or take the thing to Hermès and see if they could repair it. Of course, one person writing into one website is nothing to hang one's hat on. Whole thing's pretty weird, though. In case you're wondering, by the way, the $35 Apple keyring attached to one of the AirTags in this house is holding its own. And the AirTag. Not saying, just saying. Coming up in a few minutes, cars need roads. Roads need maintenance. Taxes on gas cover some of that cost. So, what or how do you charge drivers of electric vehicles? When the Lone Star State wrestles with that problem, it's news to Parallel host Shelley Brisbane. The show is called In a Few Minutes. Find it and listen wherever you find and listen to podcasts. macOS Can, brought to you by me and sponsored by Headspace. Meditation made simple. Get a free 1-month trial at headspace.com/macOScan. This show is also supported by people like you, patrons through Patreon. Find out more and add your support at patreon.com/macOScan. Advertising handled by Backbeat Media. Online at backbeatmedia.com. You can reach me a couple of ways. Info at macoscan.com or call 716-780-4080. Until next time, that is news from macOS Ken. I'm Ken Ray.
Hey Ken, it's Sam Lawtooth, and I'm calling because I wanted to give a tribute to the iPad 2 because I was one of those people who bought it immediately as soon as it was announced, and I've loved it. I think the cover was the best of all of the covers they've ever had. That commercial with the sound of opening and closing, just iconic. And they obviously did that so it wouldn't annoy you, so they could make it sound like it was cool when it actually was kind of noisy. But I have to say, I'm still rocking my iPad 2. I use it on every musical gig I have. I'm a musician and I keep all of my charts in there, and some of the apps for that can do a whole bunch of things, and iPad 2 is still up to the challenge. I have 2 of them, and I use one for me and one for whoever happens to join me musically. And aside from long boot up times, it sometimes takes as much as 15 seconds to boot up. Aside from that, they're rock solid. The batteries are still great. I've never replaced the batteries. Just high praise for the iPad 2. I think it is one of the best pieces of hardware Apple has ever made. Also, for me personally, it is the longest I've had a piece of hardware of Apple's. So it's the longest, most time-serving piece of equipment I've had from them. So I gotta say, they did something really right with that hardware. Keep up the good work. Thank you very much. Have a good one.
Ciao.